to the future.
No. I basically want to I just want
The Prime Minister post every day.
Okay, seniors. Let's just give a big round of applause for these fine alumni. I thank them all for taking the time out of their day. They're all on break right now and they chose to be here to talk to you. So this is an opportunity for all of you to ask any questions. We're going to have the alumni introduce themselves. If you could give your name, where you're at now, what year you graduated, and what you're up to now would be great. And toward the end, when we're done with the introductions, Ms. Murphy will kick things off with a question. And seniors, please feel free to raise your hand. We'll have a microphone. We'll be running around handing you microphones so everybody can hear you, okay? All right, let's start with Rachel.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm Rachel. I was the class of 2019. I'm at Anna Maria College and I'm studying music therapy.
I'm Polina. I'm also class of 2019 and I'm currently at Leiden University College in the Netherlands and I'm studying in their Global Challenges program.
Wow.
I'm Sasha. I was also class of 2019. I'm at the University of Connecticut and I'm studying biophysics.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm class of 2019. I'm at Rochester Institute of Technology and I'm studying microelectronic engineering.
Hi, my name is Kim. I'm class of 2019 and right now I'm at Worcester State studying nursing.
I'm Phoebe. I don't have any class of 2019. I'm at Mass Art. I'm studying film.
I'm Sarah. I go to Quinnipiac University, class of 2019, and I'm studying mathematics.
Ethan, 2017, University of Hartford, Civil Engineering.
I'm Reed, class of 2017. I'm at Olin College of Engineering studying mechanical engineering.
I'm Megan, class of 2019. I'm at the United States Coast Guard Academy. I'm studying National Security Studies.
I'm Matt, class of 2019. I go to RIT and I'm just declared in chemical engineering.
I'm Elle. I go to the University of Vermont and I'm studying health science and emergency medicine.
Hi, I'm Rhea. I'm class of 2019 and I go to St. John's University and I'm studying for my doctorate of pharmacy.
I'm Noah from the class of 2019. I go to UMass Amherst for mathematics.
Hi, I'm Kavya, class of 2019 and I go to UConn and I'm studying econ and statistics.
I'm Aiden, class of 2019. I'm going to Parsons School of Design and I'm studying integrated design.
Hey, I'm Krista. I'm at the University of Vermont studying community and international development.
Hi, I'm Brian, class of 2019. I'm at WPI. I'm double majoring in robotics engineering and aerospace with a focus on astronautical.
I'm not that good. I'm a DTF. I go to RIT and I study computer science. Class of 2019.
I'm Matthew. I go to Tufts University, class 2019. I'm double majoring in applied math and CS.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I class of 2019. I go to George Washington University, and I'm a dual major in political science and finance.
I'm Ava, class of 2019 at Penn State, and I'm studying mechanical engineering.
I'm Owen, class of 2018. I go to Columbia College, Chicago, and I'm studying film producing.
I'm Lauren, class of 2019. I go to Roger Williams University. I'm studying engineering.
I'm Stasia, class of 2018. I go to Bridgewater State University and I'm double majoring in elementary education and English.
I'm Reese, class of 2019. I attend Becker College and I'm majoring in software. Wait, what did I say? Oh, whoops. No, I'm not. I'm class of 2018. And I am majoring in software engineering with a focus on virtual reality.
Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm class of 2018. I go to UMass Amherst. I'm majoring in political science and journalism with a certificate in data analytics.
I'm Thomas. I'm class of 2018. I'm at Stony Brook University studying computer science and applied math.
Hi, I'm Yari. I'm class of 2018. I go to UMass Boston, and right now, my only major is international relations.
I'm Andrew, class of 2015. I subsequently attended Stony Brook University where I studied mathematics.
Hey yo, I'm Jared, class of 2018, and I'm studying sustainable food and farming.
Hello, I'm Risa, class of 2015, and I graduated last year with math and computer science from UMass Lowell, so I work full-time.
I'm Steven. I go to Salem State University. I'm an SMS major, and I'm class of 2018.
I'm Natalia. I go to UMass Lowell, class of 2016, and I'm pursuing a doctorate in physical therapy. I'm Kaylee, class of 2016. I go to Framingham State, and I'm pursuing a major in business management with a marketing minor.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a chemical warfare specialist with biological and radiological warfare in the Marine Corps, as well as a rifle and pistol coach for the last 3 years.
I'm Grace. I go to UMass Amherst. I'm majoring in microbiology, minoring in biochemistry and molecular biology, and getting a certificate in biotechnology.
Alright, we are going to start with a very general question, so if you just want to raise your hand, we can pass the mic, and if you can stand too so that students in the back can see you, that would be great, if you're comfortable with that. So our first question is, how did AMSA prepare you for your life outside of AMSA? Who wants to go first? Want to take that?
Hi. So AMSA's kind of rigorous schedule and the really intense workload kind of helped me with time management skills, which they don't really. You're on your own in college for the most part. Some colleges are different, but yeah.
You guys are here to talk, so raise your hands. Thank you.
Alright, so basically in college you have to be very independent and self-study everything, just like AMSA, so definitely keep that in mind because in college it's you and only you who's going to advocate for yourself. Your teacher's not going to come up to you and say, hey, you're failing. You have to figure out, alright, I need extra help, I'm going to go get extra help. And also don't forget the classes you take at AMSA because, for example, I hate using this example, but if everyone remembers Benji Cam, I know. That class definitely helped me because I took chemistry my first semester and I cruised that class. Like I got a 98 easily and I didn't get anything lower than like a 90 on my exams. I didn't have to take the final either, so I keep that in mind because some classes do help out in college.
Okay, so along what Owen and Kim were saying, you are very much on your own. There's no plus portals or anything like that. You don't know what your grades are 95% of the time, so you have to be on it, make sure you know what you're doing, make sure you have good time management skills, and you get a feel for the class. And if you have questions, email your professors, go to office hours if they have them, but they're not going to be seeking you out. You have to go and seek them out.
Still? Okay, good. I would say that what we were saying, like AMSA being so rigorous, and also like the feeling of like trying to do your best. In college, no one's gonna care about what your GPA is or anything like that. They don't care that you went to AMSA. They don't care that you did like all these like things that they did in their last few years of high school. But like in college, knowing that you have like a one-up on other people because we did so many things in high school and in middle school, it keeps you motivated. So yeah, check up on your grades, but also don't miss homework or don't miss something because you want to stay in bed. Like, go to class. There's a lot of people that will skip classes, and there's a lot of professors who will notice that. And for example, like my macro professor, I'm pretty sure I ended that class with like a B+, but he said so in the beginning of the semester, like if you come to class, attendance wasn't mandatory, but if you come to class and I see that you're putting in effort, he was able to bump up my B+, like I'm pretty sure I got a B+, into an A-. And he said that he's done that before for other students. So what professors really care about is the fact that you're putting in effort, and I feel like with AMSA, I still put in effort. Like, it's a little different because in high school, if I missed one homework assignment, I was like, it's fine, I know the point system, or I know the percent system, like, I can cheat around it. But like in college, you don't have that, and we do have something called Blackboard, or like you might have something that's similar to plus portals, but not all professors update on it. So you, like even if you have that, you won't know what your grades are, so it's really up to you to stay motivated, which AMSA helped with, because now I just go to classes and I actually try, and I like do my homework, and I stay in touch with your professors, all of that, so yeah.
I would say that the two things that AMSA has definitely taught me that really prepared me for college was number one, self-advocacy. I had a couple of teachers I won't name that weren't as encouraging going into what I wanted to do as I had hoped that they would be. And also, since I went into a really STEM-heavy field, it really just taught me how to like throw myself into the sciences. I took so many APs that I literally did not have to take a single gen ed when I got to UMass. And I was taking all like biochem, microbiome classes, and I did completely hate myself because AMSA did it first, so.
All right, any questions from our current students on that topic before we move to the next one? Anything that you're wondering about if our alums are prepared for? All right, we'll move on to the next question. Weird. Okay. So our next question is, since a lot of you are in the process of doing your applications and finishing those up and getting your acceptances back, curious to hear from our former students about how your college decision process went. So what kind of decisions went into creating that, or did you have any financial concerns or anything on those lines? So anyone want to take that one?
Oh God, I don't know that. Okay, so I'm the only person here that I study in Europe. So for me, the main thing that went into my college decision was A, location, and B, financial aspect. I pay
less than 14 grand a year for my education. And that's the European system, that's how much you pay in Europe. Plus, I live in a big city, and because I'm focused on global challenges, which is a very politically based program, I'm living in the city where the Dutch government is located. So I'm right next to Parliament, I'm right next to all these other things that are providing me with opportunities I look into career-based decisions. So for me, combining this aspect of this is what I want to do with my career and living near places that provide me help with my career, and as well as this very financial-based thing that made both my life easier and my parents' life easier for paying for college. So those were the two main things that went into my college decision.
So I actually took a gap year, and if anybody here is considering it at all, if anybody here is considering that at all, I highly recommend it because it really does nothing but just benefit you. What I did was I talked to my school, found out that they did allow deferment, and after I got accepted, I just called my school, basically was like, I would like to defer for a year. I had to write like a small paper on why, and it was really easy, and I worked for an entire year. I got enough money to, spend in college, so I'm not like worrying about having to pay for food. And it did nothing but benefit me. So if you're considering it at all, I would highly recommend it. And yeah. Also, it doesn't matter. Yes, going to school, like where you go is important, but like if you didn't get into your dream school, it doesn't matter like at all. At all. At all.
Okay, I guess I should disclose that I'm not in college. Yeah. However, hello? Okay. My college education is going to be 100% paid for.
Hell yeah!
So, I mean, I'm not a recruiter by any means. I'm not going to say that you should join the Marine Corps because I did sell my soul to the government for 4 years, technically 8. Cool. So, if that's not for you, then that's not for you. But at the end of the day, if you want to do that, pursue that, and travel, I've been to Japan. I just lived there for 2 years. I forgot about that gong. And you want to travel, you want to do any of those things financially, it puts you on such a good foundation. I mean, I don't make a lot of money, but my medical is taken care of, my housing, my food, I never have to worry about that. As well as I have a yellow ribbon deal where I choose a school and the government pays a certain amount of money and then that's matched. And like all of these schools, I can go to Harvard for free potentially, not that I didn't, but I could go to Harvard for free if, I was educationally sound. But, and you can pursue so many different occupational specialties in the Marine Corps, like you could be a truck driver, you could be police, like you could work on C-130 flights and watch the sky as you fly over that. But if you have any questions on that on the side, please let me know. Go to school for free.
So I would say I'm applying to grad schools right now, so I kind of am again going through that whole like application process. Am I going to get in? Oh no, I got rejected. What do I do now? So when I was applying to college, I really wanted to go to a women's college, like Smith College was my top, and I got rejected from Smith. While I was touring Smith, I was literally talking to somebody and I got my rejection email and I'm like, gotta go bye. Then toured UMass because I was like, I guess I can go here, it's my safety, and then ended up going there because it was the cheapest. And honestly, something that I really learned, especially being in college, is that you can, once you're there, you can also really tailor your experience. Because I applied to UMass as an English major, was an English major for about a week, and was like, I hate this. And my experience isn't even the same as other people in my major. So once you get there, like really be on your guard, like trying to figure out like what do I want to do and how do I want to tailor my experience to fit me as best as I can, not just the school itself.
So I'm coming at this at a slightly different perspective, having just graduated. So one thing that I would definitely take into consideration is the financial aspect. So for me, I ended up going to where it was most cost efficient for me. And I'm at that age now where like, it's almost been a year after graduation, so a bunch of my friends are starting to have to pay off their student loans. And so especially depending on where you go and like the loan that you get, it can be kind of a little bit like crippling, especially right after. So especially if you, like, I didn't have a dream school necessarily, I just applied to schools and wherever I went was fine. So if you're not absolutely dead set on like a specific experience and like, she walked behind, but like she had said, you can like tailor the experience to you. I would try and do that, especially if you're not even sure about the whole college experience. I had a few friends that dropped out, but even if you drop out, the loans are still yours. And so, not to sound scary, but like when I was in your guys' space, that scared me so much. And I don't know, I guess I thought I'd pass that on.
Okay, hi. So honestly, the minute that I sent in my like official deposit, I completely blocked out like everything from the college application process. But what I can tell you is that like I didn't talk to anyone when I was applying except for like. Okay, yes. I was really like quiet. Hi, Mr. Smith. I didn't really tell like anyone about any of the schools I was applying to. Like 2 people knew, and they were both like guidance counselors at AMSA. Like my mom didn't even know where I was applying, and I changed my list like 20 times. Like the school that I ended up going to, like I was not on my list originally, and when I applied there, I applied with one major and changed it like the week after I got in, and they were like, sure, but like it really like. The schools that you get into, like one of them is going to be the right fit for you, and if it's not, like it usually will be, but if it's not, then like transferring is not the end of the world. Like I know people who have transferred already and they're having like a great time at their new school and stuff, but it's going to be good, and like you're going to get out of AMSA and it's going to be really great. Like you're going to like be happy. You'll get to sleep.
Hi guys. So I also wanted to talk for a second about financials because it can seem pretty cut and dry when you're first looking at it, right? You apply to see what the school will give you, you apply to see what FAFSA will give you, and from there the rest is up to you to figure out. And I learned pretty quick that that's actually not always the case. It's worth it to put the effort in and connect with people from the college to actually see who you can find for connections there. In my case, I applied to Becker College and got in on early admission, and I put a lot of effort there to connect with as many people as possible, find out what my options were, because I come from a single parent household where paying for college was, you know, kind of scary. We weren't entirely sure how we were going to do it. So I had found out through connections and through talking to about 20 people that Becker actually has an esports team, which was super fun for me because I like playing video games. You can get paid to do that. Yeah, woo! So I instead found a way to sell my soul to Becker instead of the military. For 4 years. And they're paying for half of my college to play on their esports team for 4 years, and then I have a set-up internship with Boston Uprising to work as a player manager there for their players. So this, and yeah, anything's possible. The world is yours, provided you want to go out there and talk to people. So it's worth it. Get to know the people at your college. Get to know what the college wants. You know. So get out there.
So, on a different note than everybody else here, after you pick a college, you want to make sure you check the housing and when it opens, because there are so many different housing places usually for where you're going, and all of them are different. And if you do it too late, you're not going to end up where you want, you're not going to end up with your friends, and it's just bad. I know many people who did it too late, didn't look at what each place was, and ended up in the worst place. So yeah, just look it up early.
Hi, so I go to the University of Vermont, and the reason why I chose this school was first financial, but I pay less than I do going to UMass, which is really nice. thank God. But I'm going into, well, I am in the medical field, but I'm continuing my education to go further in the medical field. And when I toured all the schools, Vermont was actually the only school that I had gotten into with a medical center, like a level 1 trauma center on campus. So the majority of my classes that are not gen eds are in the hospital. And I get credit to work. So I get paid to go to school. And it's really nice if you're if you want to go into the medical field, you get so much clinical experience and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, everyone's talking about financials, and that really didn't apply for me because all of mine ended up being the same price in the end with all the scholarships. Yeah, so going into it, I didn't have a top choice or anything because it was all scaled. So the most expensive was the most difficult and so on. So once I got in and they were all the same price, I just went off of the feeling I got when I got my acceptance. So I just went where I was most happy to go, basically.
Okay. So yeah, financial is pretty important because obviously you don't want to burden yourself or your family. But there's other things besides that. Some people have kind of touched on it. Make sure that the schools you're applying to, if you have somewhat of a clue of what you think you're gonna make sure that the schools that you're applying to have those majors or have students, I told this at the PTO meeting on Tuesday night, check out websites like niche.com, which can, if you search up a school or whatever, you can see what students who actually go to that school are saying. Because it can help you figure out what they like about the campus, what they think about the professors, and also you can find what are the top majors at that school or what majors that school does well. As for me picking UMass Boston, that was pretty cheap for me. Weird brat, but I would say for a whole year at UMass Boston, I pay between $5,000 to $7,000, which is relatively cheap compared to some other people. Also, I stay home because I have a brother at home who has autism, so that's something special for me. I didn't house there or do the dorms. And UMass Boston is largely a commuter school, so I don't feel weird for being a commuter. As well as I wanted a school that had more diversity. Our class had 5 Hispanic kids, and I'm from Florida, so I'm used to being around Hispanic kids. But yeah, so there's different things that you might be looking for in a college. For me, diversity was super important because I did apply to more well-known schools for politics and international relations, but I saw that a lot of kids were saying that the schools weren't as diverse. And for me, that was something that was really important. So figure out what you think is important, as well as along with your major. And I'd say along with the financial stuff, that is also really important to consider when it comes to colleges.
So one big thing that I noticed, and I have a twin sister who went through the application process with me, and we ended up taking very different paths. So my family has kind of experienced the side of military college and civilian college. Specialize. Find the schools that specialize in what you want. It's not always about the name of the school, it's also about the program. If you research the best programs, you're going to actually have the best job offers when you graduate. So when my sister was looking around, that was something she took into consideration, and it bode her well. Going back to what Rachel said, enlistment is a great option if you're looking to pursue your career right away, and really the military does offer incredible opportunities. The academies are also an option if you want to go to college. We suffer quite a bit. I have a feeling maybe we have a bit, we don't have the most fun all the time, but it's kind of that delayed gratification, where if any of you are interested in that pathway, you can obviously talk to me about it. And there's a third option, which might be a bit, like if you were going to go to the academies, you would have started that process already. But you can always do ROTC, and this isn't something you have to pick right away. So you don't have to commit for ROTC until your junior year of college at most schools. And sometimes, depending on which ROTC scholarship you get, you can get like a full ride to any university. Like I know me and my friend John both had those scholarships. So even though we chose to go to like the academies, we could have gone to a civilian school and had the military pay for it. That being said, the government does own your soul, as Rachel so eloquently put it, so it's something to be aware of, but if you're unsure, ROTC is a great thing to try out, and you don't have to commit right away.
This is kind of going back to like registering for like housing, also registering for classes. Please register your classes like as soon as it comes up, like as soon as you can. And please take into consideration the timing and like days of the classes. Cause yeah, don't take a lot of like 8 a.m.s, but also on the flip side, I had classes 3 days in a row that ended at like 10 at night. Don't do that. And also this applies, like personally I know this applies largely to students going into like humanities. Make as many connections as you possibly can, especially with your professors, because through like making connections, like talking to my professors, like I've been able to get on film sets that they work on, because my teachers are still working in their field. So I've had like real life applications like as a college freshman. So definitely make connections. Talk with like other students, upperclassmen, if they're working on something and they need like an assistant or anything. Start from the ground up. Definitely just make connections and talk to people and try and get like as much out of school work done if you can. That's it.
On the like financial aspect, so when I chose to go to UMSL, that was definitely on my mind. I pay for my own tuition, so it was the cheapest option. And I don't know if there's anyone else on this boat, on my boat, but working in college is not impossible. I did it all 4 years, and I work not at the school, but there's many work study options. There's many, if you talk to a professor, you can maybe intern for them. You can get a lot of field work that way, so that's just another option you can consider.
I just want to say, no matter how well you plan out anything, and like you're like, oh, this is the college I'm going to go to, this is the major I'm going to do, there's a 98% chance it's not going to happen like that, and that's okay, you're going to be fine. I ended up taking a gap year. Owen said earlier that he took one too. Totally recommend it. It's really great, especially if you kind of don't have an idea of where you want to do anything in your life, and you can kind of try out different things to get work experience and that sort of thing. Also, visit college campuses. I know you hate all the tours. My mom's Miss Bowen. She's the most embarrassing parent to go to the college tours with. But seeing the campus and getting the feel for it and seeing how other students interact on the campus is really important. It really helps you make that decision.
I want to go back to financials and working in college. This is a little bit early for you, but if you do go to a school that has like a pretty significant group of people living on campus, I would really encourage you to consider being a resident assistant or an RA. Some people are like, Grace, you're not going to have any fun in college if you're an RA. I can tell you right now that that is not true. So at least the way that it works at UMass is I am an RA, I like make bulletin boards and like easy stuff like that, and I get free housing and I get a discount on my tuition. Like it's really, really helpful. Yeah, and again, there are a lot of different opportunities. I've worked as a TA, I've worked as a yoga teacher, I've like done all sorts of stuff. So there are definitely opportunities for you if you're trying to make money.
This hasn't really been mentioned yet, but I would very much recommend going to a larger school because chances are that means that there's a lot more chance that you'll find more things that you're interested in really quickly, and also that there's going to be enough funding for those things to thrive. And also I echo a lot of what's been said already.
If any of you were like when I was applying last year, like I was really scared because I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. So like if any of you are in that boat, I would just say like it doesn't really matter. Just apply everywhere and like wherever. Yeah, just apply everywhere.
Can't be waivers.
Yeah, take a chance on yourself, and wherever you go, I think like it'll be the right fit.
All right, we have about 30 minutes left, so I want to open it up to questions from current students. We do have a couple topics, so if you don't have any questions, we'll get them out there. But we want to see what you guys want to know first. So would anyone like to ask the first question? Go.
So I want to know, what are some things that you heard or were told about college that were actually not really true, that you don't have to worry about? And what are some things that you wish you knew before going to college?
So we're going to try to see if we have some folks who haven't contributed yet. If you haven't spoken yet and you desperately want to answer a question, make sure you put your hand up. Okay.
Okay, so I thought college was going to be a lot harder than what it was for me, if that makes sense. Like, for example, next semester, I am done with classes by noon every single day, and so that gives me time to get my homework done. And, like, I would say the amount of time that I spend on homework just kind of depends on the class. I've had certain semesters where I spend, like, a few hours on homework, or in some where, like, I'm not working on homework at all. Like, it's very different depending on what you do. So like I wouldn't go in expecting one thing, like really you have no idea, but a lot of classes that I had to take for gen ed stuff, some of them I didn't even have to take because of the classes that I took here, because you have to take placement testings and all that stuff, and you can surpass a lot of those. With the ones that I did have to take anyways, they weren't that hard at all because we generally did what I was having to take here already. So it's like, go to class, do your homework. Like, I'm not saying it's 100% a breeze for everything, but I definitely thought it was going to be a lot harder than what it actually was.
Yeah, so going off of Stasia, I definitely would say it's very different from high school. You're not constantly in class unless you make your schedule like that, which I don't recommend. So like for me, next semester, I take like 2 classes in the morning, then I have a nice break, and then around 1 o'clock is like my 3rd class of the day, and then that was like my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then on Tuesday, Thursdays, I just have my lab components of my science classes, and sometimes when lab gets canceled, hey, I had the day off. So things like that, it's really nice, and you learn that you're gonna have a lot more free time than you have in high school. Like I think my past semester, I was done with all my classes by like 11:30 every day, and it was so nice. So like during this time, you should learn how to make good habits for yourself, like start working out, or like be more social with people, because definitely you have more time for that now.
On the topic of socializing, I want to talk about a bit about the stigma around fraternities and sororities. A lot of times, it's really not like what you think of when you think of a frat or a sorority. There are a lot where they are just really great opportunities for you to meet new people and meet new friends, which can be really tough in your first year at college. I'm personally not in a frat, although I was very close to joining one. I just don't have the time to do it. I don't have a lot of free time, unlike some other people, but I did rush. I highly encourage you all to rush. There's a lot of fun events. If you don't know what rushing is, it's like, at least how they do it at my school, it's like a month-long event where all the frats and sororities host opportunities for you to go hang out with them and have fun, like go to banquets and stuff with them. It's a lot of fun. You get a lot of opportunities for free stuff. Highly encourage doing that.
So, kind of keeping on with that social aspect, one thing I kind of realized that I started about possession of when I went to, came back from went to AMSA, is that I started as kind of hard to make friends. I realized that with AMSA, you're kind of with the same people for the last 7 years, or roughly 7 years, or something by joining 9th year or whatever. But essentially, you will be forced to because you're with each other so often, you sort of talk to each other because you see each other so often, you have the same class and whatsoever. But in college, it's you can't necessarily take classes with people who you can probably, let's say, talk to, or people who you're able to make friends with. And so for me, it's very hard to kind of bring the social scene or people who sort of talk to, because I'm not really a social person. If you know me, I'm able to sort of talk and make jokes and such, but I might sort of come with someone new and be like, hey, my name's Matthew, nice to meet you. But it's kind of hard to sort of break in and make new friends and stuff like that. So keep that in mind.
Party thing. So, I'm so sorry. Here, go. So what I was gonna say is that there's less pressure to be a party animal and do drugs and do alcohol as you would think. Because when I was going into college, everyone was there's gonna be so many people doing drugs and we're gonna get in trouble, and it's not. I'll tell you what me and my roommates did last time I saw them. We had a human table in the lounge and ate Hot Pockets. So there's just don't feel pressured to do that kind of thing if you don't want to. You can definitely find people that don't want to do that and that you can hang out with, talk to your roommates' friends or their classmates, and
Kind of going off of that same sentiment, when I first told people in my senior class that I was going to UMass Amherst, I had a lot of people being like, why would you go there? That's party school, it's crazy, all this stuff. I was terrified. Going into my first semester, I was like, am I going to meet crackheads? What's gonna happen to me? I might die. Honestly, the stigma around certain schools being a party school, it really is what you make of it. At least in my own personal experience, I've never had any issues with people being crazy. And again, you can tailor your experience to that. If you've decided to go to a school that is a party school, that doesn't have to be your outcome. It all depends on what you end up doing with your free time. Are you going to do productive things in the time that you have, or are you going to make poor decisions, and that is on you. So, yeah.
Okay, so another thing, going off that same topic, is even though in Europe it is legal to drink and smoke weed at 18, most people's idea of fun in the Netherlands is going to a pub on a Friday night and drinking like old people. That's literally what people do for fun. Some people, yes, go clubbing, but there is no pressure to drink or do drugs or anything like that, even though it is technically legal in that country. So it's all up to you.
So kind of hopping off the drugs and alcohol train for a second. Two things. One, this might be an unpopular opinion among college students, but colleges have a lot of resources. It's just they make it so hard to figure out how to use all of these resources. Talk to your counselors at school. Just to figure out what do I have available to me and how can I access this. And I was about to say something else. I forget.
So going into college, people told me not to take 8 AMs because they will ruin your life. I didn't feel that way. Personally, I enjoy 8 AMs. I am able to get up early in the morning, get my day started, and then I have plenty of time in the afternoon, once my classes are done, to, hang with my friends, do what I like. It's all about finding that balance between school and not school.
It's me again, I remembered what I was going to say. So I go to school in Chicago, and a lot of the stigma, downtown Chicago, a lot of the stigma is it's unsafe. I have not had any dangerous experiences, literally at all. Just don't be dumb and you'll be fine. Definitely talk to the actual students who go there if you're worried about a school area or whatever. But it's fine. Period.
Hi, it's me again. So I don't know if this is a thing at other schools, but okay, so the health office is less helpful than the school nurse office.
Yes! Oh my God.
They will if you can go to the health office and they're just we can't do anything, so we're just gonna send you to the ER, or you can just go die in your dorm room. So if something's wrong with you, do not go to them. Go to a walk, figure out where there's walking clinics nearby, or and sometimes you go there and they just yell at you and stuff like that, and it doesn't make sense because you're sick. And also, have friends, have a first aid kit, because you're gonna need that, because people are dumb, and you're gonna have, I had a lot of free time. I had classes where they're you're gonna be doing 5 hours of work every day, and I never did work for those classes. I used to go to, I had 1 8 a.m. and I would go to it, and I'd get back to my dorm room, and I'd just change back into my pajamas and go straight back to bed, and it was a blessing. You're gonna take so many naps, and it's gonna be so great. Thank you.
Okay, so this is more for people who are going into things outside of math, anybody that's in business, software engineering, engineering various, right? You may have free time that you're not doing homework or in classes. Don't waste it. Do something with it, right? Anybody can say that they came out of college and got a degree in X thing, but if you can then put 12 more things that you did while you were in college at the same time, they're gonna look at your application, right? A college degree is really important in modern job society, sure. But if you can actually show that you've applied it to something at the same time, they're gonna value that way more than just somebody who says they got the degree, so yeah.
Okay, I have a couple things today. First of all, it's also, like other people said, a lot easier than I expected. And I'm going to disagree with Sarah. I had 4 9 a.m. classes, and I was late almost every single day. So next semester, I will have 0 morning classes. I have none until 12, but I also have school until 10 p.m. 3 nights a week. So I'd prefer that though, because I don't want to be late every single day. Yeah, so I recommend that.
So to bring it back to partying, so the thing somebody said about there not being that much partying, there isn't if you don't want there to be, but you know that you're probably going to try it at some point. So the thing is, to be safe, know your limits is a real thing. Most people don't like to hang out with the person who's always stumbling around all night. On the topic of frats, if you find the right one, then you are going to be able to get into much better jobs. You're going to have opportunities. There's other ones that are just for partying in my experience. Be very safe with that, because I've been headbutt by someone I believe to be on cocaine from a frat. I was bleeding.
Okay, so I had a few things that are kind of contradicting what other people have said. So one, for example, so I went to school in Lowell, which kind of has a bad rep. And I would say it's not completely undeserved, but what I mean by that is just be careful. There was a little bit of time where I lived downtown, and there I was followed all the way back to like where I was living, or I was cornered on the bridge by like random strangers. So like, yes, this could happen anywhere. I'm not saying it's just Lowell, like just be careful, be aware of your surroundings, like just know kind of what's going on, and especially if you look confused or lost, going to be a bit more of a target. So like our first day of moving, we actually got a text warning. This was my year, not yours, but there was a mugging that same day. So like, just be careful. You could be a target. And then similarly, another slightly contradictory thing is there's going to be tons of opportunities, but you don't need to take them all. So I went to college, and then I thought I had way too much free time, so then I got a second degree, and then I worked as an RA all 3 years, and then I worked another job, and I was president of this like club, and I was part of another club, and I did too much. But I didn't realize that until I graduated. So like now that I actually have free time, now that I work full time, I don't know what to do with it. I'm so used to having classes and homeworks and multiple jobs and responsibilities that I guess I never really took the time to learn like, what do I like? So like I have 20 plants, but other than that, a little unclear. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. And it's a really important thing to learn no. Like just because someone you like is asking you to do them a favor, or because this person thinks you're a great fit for like this club or organization, you don't need to do it. And not everything is about preparing yourself for like the next steps. Like yes, you should get a degree if that's something that you want, but don't only be thinking about your resume, just think of yourself as well. So, those are like my big things. Thanks.
Do we have any other student questions? I'm gonna go.
Hi. Have y'all ever been in any fraternities or sororities, and do you recommend joining one?
I think we've already talked a little bit about fraternities or sororities, so I think we're gonna maybe take another question from the audience.
Alright, so this is just real quick, by show of hands, raise your hand, who thinks that college has been harder than AMSA? And then by show of hands, who thinks that college has been easier than AMSA? Alright, thank you.
My question is like about dorms, like orientation and stuff. Like, are you gonna get paired randomly, or like is orientation pretty valuable? Like for dorms, like for rooming with something. No, like I'm asking like.
The person I wanted to room with and my roommate. So like I talked to her, and then at some point the school had us we had to like fill out this form to say who we wanted our roommate to be. For people who did not know who they wanted their roommates to be, some schools formed like Facebook groups. Like my school had a Bridgewater State, class of 2022, and then people would write something about themselves, things they like, their majors, all that stuff, and then you would comment or message people who you thought had similar interests, and people would find their roommates that way through talking to them and getting together and meeting with them. Orientation is also really good. I know a few people who have met their roommates there. For orientation, I got paired with a random person to share a room for the night, which was fine. She was cool, but it didn't really go anywhere from there, and that's okay too. But there are multiple ways to find roommates. And if it's a bad situation and you don't like the roommate that you had for the first year, don't feel like ashamed to change or anything like that. Like, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Don't just continue to live with them just because you feel bad, because that's not good for anyone. And there are many people to talk to about that, so there are many ways to figure that out.
And also, if you... I'm tired. Also, if you randomly get paired, I was talking to someone for a while about rooming together, but then the date passed. So even if you get randomly paired, I found one of my best friends ever, like through random pairing of rooms, so it's not gonna be that bad. Like, yes, there will be like crazy people, but there will also be like really cool people.
So at orientation, I was randomly paired with 3 people for a room because we were put in quads. Never spoke to them again. Don't even know where they are right now. But at my college, you could fill out this form about things you like, things you dislike, when you like to get up, when you like to go to bed, and they will pair you with someone. I also didn't do that. So I got a completely random pair for my roommate. I'm in a double. And I liked her, she was nice, but I ended up switching. So I have a new roommate for next semester. So you'll get paired with a random person, and it's going to be fun. You're going to meet a lot of awesome new people.
I'll say that random pairing can be a bit of a mixed bag because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in my hall who doesn't get the roommate. Like everyone else is random and they all absolutely hate each other. I'm probably the person by the roommate who's like a normal guy, but you still know what you're getting. So it could be fun, might not be fun. That's part of the fun college, you know? It's a mixed bag.
Alright, we'll take a couple more questions I think we have time for.
For anyone who decided to go to college like pretty far away from home, probably like more than like 6 to 10 hours away. Perfect, great. What are the like good coping mechanisms? Like how did you find yourself to feel like comfortable where you are? Like, I don't know, just how did you feel comfortable being far away from home?
So I live a 6-hour flight away from home. My university is a 6-hour flight away from Boston. For me, the best coping mechanisms was talking regularly with my parents over FaceTime. Like that always helps. But also finding a group of people that also live far away from home. My best friend at college, she's from Singapore, which is a 12-hour flight away from home. So we got to talk about and we bonded over the fact that we don't really have any connections in the Netherlands to base off of. So because of that, I end up forming friendships with people from all over the world and connections because they don't really have any other connections to go off of. People struggle with this and you do need to find coping habits to deal with it. But if you find other people that are in the same boat, it's usually much easier to get through it together. The thing is, our people at the school, some of the counselors described it this way: you're really, really happy when you get to college, but then you have like a dip about a month in, and then eventually you get back out of it. And this is mostly because you're studying abroad, you're an international student, and it's really hard to be away from home. But just keeping up connections with people at home, making new connections at school, and trying to get through it all together is really what got me through it.
So I don't live that far away from my home, but it's kind of on the flip side. I was someone who thought like I would be really devastated like after I left home, but it was not that bad. I mean, yes, you feel homesick for like a little bit, but after a while it kind of normalizes itself, especially if you surround yourself with people who also, as Polina said, live far away. It's kind of like nice to have that bond. But for me, it kind of fades, especially like if you call your family a lot. And like the more you visit home, more often the more you're going to want to go back to school.
So I'm not super far away, but I have a similar experience because I'm not allowed to come home. So it's essentially I'm far away from home. In my experience, and I've noticed this among a lot of my classmates, the worst thing you can do is hole yourself up in your room and stay there. Because a lot of kids fall victim to that. They're just texting their friends back home. And reality is you need to get out there and make new connections. Because if you don't, the next couple years are going to be a rough time. For me, I know it was hard kind of knowing that life was continuing on and people could contact each other. I couldn't have social media, that was part of the academy. So I had really no connection to the people back home for a good period of time. But I found find people and make plans even if you don't want to. Make plans so that you have to leave your room and go do something. That would be my advice.
I go to school like 7-ish kind of hours away. It's kind of that like in between where it's too close to like take a flight and it's not worth it, but it's also like a pain in the butt to drive. I'm doing that tomorrow, so that's gonna be fun. But it's like, it's very nice when you come home and you get to see your friends and your family again. And like for me, I was out all break and I'm here now for a day.
Your roommate went to AMSA.
Oh yeah, my roommate went to AMSA. That's Matt, my roommate. Yeah, we hate each other. It's okay. But it's like Nate, I don't know where you're looking at, but like initially I was gonna go to like the University of Washington in Seattle, and that's like a lot further than upstate New York. And so I think like you just have to be able to utilize your time when you're actually home and enjoy your time when you're at school. So it's like I met like my best friends at school, and then obviously like when I come home, I'll text like all my friends and I'll make plans, and then also like enjoy your family, because like my sister's older than me and like it's just us two, but now it's like my mom does not hesitate to mention that like we're never gonna be home again, you know. So it's like, because like once you move out once, you like, I mean, you can move back in, but it's like it's never really like permanent, you know. So yeah.
So I don't live that far from my home, but I'm gonna talk about not going home. Especially the first few weeks and the orientation, don't go home. My cousin and me both go in the same grade to the same school. He went home the first 2 weekends to visit his girlfriend back home, and 2 months in, he knew nobody. He didn't have any connections at the school because he didn't meet anybody. And those are like the prime times to meet people because nobody knows each other. So yeah.
I go to school like 6 hours away without traffic, I think. And yeah, that's a big thing. Try not to go home until like Columbus Day weekend, because by then it's like everyone's really started to make friends. And also, you're gonna find people from Massachusetts. Like one day, like one of my friends who I knew was from the Cape, like he pulled out honey pot cider donuts.
Oh my god.
And it was just like, you know, so like there's gonna be like little things that remind you of home that'll make you feel better. Like I didn't really get homesick at all. Like my parents miss me more than I miss them. But it's like, it's gonna be, like you're gonna be good. You'll make new friends and you'll be happy and stuff. Yeah.
We have another few minutes, so I think there's a few more questions, 2 more hands up that I saw possibly. Yes. To go all the way back next time.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
I'm gonna go today, but we have time.
So, for those of you who are commuters, what's a benefit that you found from commuting as opposed to staying on campus other than the financial benefits?
Alright, perfect, because I actually commute to Worcester State, so it's about like a 35-minute commute one way, and then another 35 going back. So honestly, the thing about commuting is that it's very easy to just go to class and go home. And the first few weeks, you try to not do that. So for me, since I was done with class so early, I would make myself like stay at the school, whether it be go to the gym and try to meet people there. I did join clubs too. I joined the commuters activity board, which was a great way to meet. I met like people outside my major too, and I met people who were older than me. And I also joined the SNA, which is like the Student Nursing Association. I kind of was just forced into that once I got into the nursing program, but it was a great way to meet other people in my major, and also classes too. That's where I met one of my good friends. He's also a commuter, so of course I'm not saying, oh, you can't be friends with like residents, but I mean, it's very, you relate more to commuters, but I still have friends who are residents, and I still have friends who are commuters, so it's a nice way to like, it's a different perspective of college, and also you're guaranteed a car on campus, which is nice, and that was my biggest power because I got to help out my friends who can't have cars on campus the first year.
Okay, so UMass Boston is like mostly commuter anyways. Like I know they added dorms, but that's literally 2 buildings, and that's only for like freshmen mostly. So eventually those people who are in the dorms have to do off-campus housing, even if they're like 5 minutes off the campus. I don't want to hit you. But some benefits about being a commuter is I like take lunch with me, and then as soon as I get home, I can eat real food and not have to pay for it. Something about
food that I don't think people realize is that like it adds up really quickly in college. Like even if I get Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, like that adds up really quickly. And as a college student who like wants to pay for other things, like saving money on food is a benefit for me. Also being able to sleep in my own bed in my own room, that's a benefit for me. I'm like a homebody, kind of, and I also I don't know if I would do well with like roommates. I like being at home. I like being boring and reading a book in my bed and being able to like go to sleep whenever I want and not having to worry about like keeping this side of the room clean or like keeping my closet clean or whatever else. As well as like you also just get to like stay home in case anyone, I don't know, this is like benefit for me, but whenever people come home, I'm already home. So like, I have people to hit up constantly. And also, I would say that commuting is actually really fun. Commuting from Hudson to Boston, I take the commuter rail, and the good thing about UMass Boston, because it's a mostly commuter school, they offer like MBTA passes that are really cheap compared to someone who's not attending UMass Boston or someone who's not attending school at all. And I take the train from South Acton into North Station, and then I take the subway line. So you get to know the city pretty well. Well, this is me talking about Boston, but like you get to know the area that you're going to school in anyways really well, because you're kind of like forced to independently like explore it, which is really fun. And I love taking the train. It's really relaxing, really nice. It gives me time in the morning to do my homework if I didn't do it the night before. You get really good at doing that. And my friends are also mostly commuters, so we kind of just commute together as well. And even though I am a commuter, I meet people anyways on campus. We have a bunch of people on campus all the time. There are some people that I've met that were at the dorms, and I stayed in contact with them. So it's not like I'm only friends with commuters. But you get to meet, like, I don't think it limits you, really. If anything, I think it's a benefit because you can put how much time you want to spend at school or how much time you want to spend in Boston.
All right, let's have a round of applause for our
Back to the Future.